Laser sights will make you a more accurate and confident shooter by providing visual feedback on sight alignment and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
The #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free GunDealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Back with you. 866-TALK-GUN is the easy way to get in here. If there's something on your mind, by all means, let's talk about it. We're talking about the use of guns safely and responsibly. And that could be target shooting, could be formal competition, might be self-defense. Obviously, hunting is a big use of firearms. If any of those are on your mind, let's talk about it. Here's a story. 17-year-old girl uses dad's gun to defend home from intruder. Her name is, wait for it, Kimber Wood. Gotta love that. Her name was Kimber. Said I guess her dad had let her know that there was reports of a prowler or somebody breaking into homes. She talked to him, said, "Can I get the gun? Keep it with me." She's on the phone with him. He said, "Yep." She heard footsteps. She says he went upstairs, said she immediately called her dad again, and she says, "I was laying there on the bed, and he came in, and that's when I crawled out to go get the gun. And then I sat back there. He popped in, and I said, 'Who the blank are you?' His head was right there," she continued, pointing to the doorway. "I had the gun straight in his face, and he ran." She did real well. The guy took off. The only thing she did poorly is she ran after him and fired a shot, just kind of like to keep him moving. That would be a case where it would be really helpful to have put her through some formal training where she would learn, no, you do not shoot at somebody who is fleeing. You do not shoot to keep them moving. Do not fire a warning shot. You pull the trigger to stop somebody from hurting you, period. If they're going away, let them go. She didn't know that. Nobody got hurt. Police didn't do anything to her, so that's all well and good. But just kind of one of those deals of, you don't know what you don't know. We talk about that a lot. How old or how young should or could a person be to go get formal firearms training, self-defense training? Well, we've got people who are 17 years old who won shooting competitions in the Olympics, gold medals. I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody who's a responsible 15-year-old getting firearms training in self-defense. We've seen the Williams sisters, no, not those, the other ones, out in Utah, winning 3-gun competitions at 11, 12 years old, shooting 1911s, ARs, shotguns. Certainly no problem there. 12? What would your take be? At what age would you say, yeah, this person could go get some real, not pretend, but real self-defense training with a firearm? 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Let's see, line 2, Mike is out with us out of Claremore, Oklahoma. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, hi. I got a bunch of, I heard you talking just about 20 minutes ago to a man about storing ammo, and I've bought a bunch back. Pardon me, I've got a terrible cough. I'm an old man, bear with me.
It's all right, you go ahead. All right, you got your ammo. Do I see that are you keeping your ammo in your safe?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's stored in the safe. I can take it out easy enough, but I just figured that was a good. My house is a good, cool house, even in this 100-degree weather we got right now. I don't even have the air conditioner on. Hadn't had it on since yesterday, and that was just about an hour a day. So it stays about 82 degrees in the house without the AC on. But it's rifle cartridges of 30-06 and 30-30, and then pistol cartridges, 44s, 38s, and 357s. But the rifle cartridges are encased. They're in boxes. They're in a box of a just like you'd buy them at the store, but they're encased in plastic then, sealed in plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just been kind of concerned about being in there that long, and I bought it just before the prices went up.
Well,
that's been about 10 years ago.
You know, I checked around the studio here, and we talked about your situation. We decided that your ammo, Mike, is probably no good anymore. And I'm going to give you my address, and you can send it to me.
Oh, I think I got your message. Tom, listen, I'm an old man. Don't talk to me like that. It made my heart beat twice as fast.
No, it's just fine. It's fine.
I figured it should be. But...
Yeah. The main thing is just keeping it cool and dry. That's the whole deal. I know some people keep
question.
it. Sure.
I want to ask you about. Go ahead and finish that statement. I'm sorry,
go ahead.
but I just thought of a question I needed. I've got a. I start this way. A man that defended himself in Tulsa was a very good friend of mine, still is. Wouldn't do anything wrong to anybody. He was concealed carry. The man was tailgating him and followed him into a park, and he said, Mike, the man backed me around my car twice, and he said, and he had a gun on him, 38, and he said, I'm good. He said, you're history, and he had to pull the trigger, and the man died. Boy, I don't know if I should have been
it's a road
quite like I did. But
it's a road. Okay, here's the question: do you think he did the right thing?
Oh, yeah, no question about any of that, but let's leave that where it is. But the question was that he called me and said, Mike, would you like to have this gun? Not the gun he did the job with, but another gun. It's a Western Marshall 44. And the only thing he didn't do was clean it, and it's got spots. I cleaned it and thought, boy, it's a fine gun. I will never shoot it again without leather gloves on. It kicks
I don't know
today and lasts until tomorrow.
I'm not sure how that all transpired, but look, I appreciate that. And look, I'm going to let you go because I do want to talk about this idea of the road rage deal and somebody followed you. I appreciate the call. All right, so here's the deal: you're going down the road, somebody's tailgating you. They're honking, they're driving aggressively, they're following you. You turn, they turn. They're on your bumper. What do? Well, let's think about that. Do you want to shoot somebody today? If the answer is yes, then you need psychological help. Simple as that. If the answer is no, then do something that sets it up so you don't get into a situation. What would you do? Oh, let's call 911 first, okay? 911, what's your emergency? I've got an aggressive driver trying to run me off the road. I need a police officer. Here's where I am. You keep moving. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Keep driving. Talk to 911. Tell them what's going on. Drive to a populated area. Don't go to a park. Don't go to some place where they can box you in. And do not go home. Okay? Because this person may see where you pull in and then may drive away, and now he knows where you live. Call 911. Call the police. Drive to a police station. That way you don't, and by all means, whatever you do, don't let your ego get caught up in it. Well, he's not going to do that to me. I'm going to get out and kick his butt. Really? You may get out and get killed. I had a woman that I worked with one time. Her boyfriend decided he would get out and teach these guys a lesson when they went by and flipped him the bird. He got out, they got out, and they killed him with a tire iron. In your car, you have some protection. When you step out, you're just a damn fool. Just saying. That's what it is. Have you ever had somebody follow you? Have you ever had road rage? What was your response? I'd love to know. 866-TALK-GUN. And if you are a woman, if this bothers you, if this concerns you, if this is something you think about, we absolutely need to talk. How do you handle it? And how did it all go down? Just give me a call. Call Tom Talk Gun.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SIG-TAC accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime, setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at timneytriggers.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created GunDealio. That's a free, yes, a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With GunDealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? GunDealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Nosler has been a leader in bullets and ammunition for decades and keeps growing with new product introductions that follow this tradition. Accurate, highly effective bullets and ammo for long-range shooting, precision rifle competition, and big game hunting. To be the first to hear about new product releases and promotions, follow Nosler on Facebook and Instagram and become part of the conversation. You won't settle, and neither will we. Nosler.com.
So, if you want to be a foster parent, or you want to adopt a child, and a lot of children need to be adopted, are you willing to give up your Second Amendment rights to do that? And that's what happens in Michigan. Michigan Department of Health and Human Services telling people, yeah, we've got to get a list of your serial numbers, and you're going to have to give up your Second Amendment rights in order to be a foster parent or to adopt. So we'll be talking about that in just a few minutes, because we're going to have the conversation about, well, why don't we go sue them? Okay, we will. We're going to do that. We're certainly doing that. Let's see. Matthew is on line 4 out of Metairie, Louisiana. Matthew, what's on your mind?
So this gentleman who's okay with registration and licensing and everything with guns, I guess he'd be okay with journalists being licensed and registered and authorized. I know CNN would be perfectly fine with that. Nobody without a journalism degree can dare comment about the news.
Well, yeah, like I say, you go even further and say, okay, if you're going to treat the First Amendment like they want to treat the Second Amendment, then you would have to get an FBI background check to buy a cell phone.
Absolutely, because you might do some unauthorized commenting. And,
right.
Hey, how about religion? We can have it so that only people with an authorized theology degree can teach religion.
Or maybe we could just say only certain religions are going to be allowed, because that's what they want to do with firearms. You can't have that gun, but you can have that one. Well, so no, you can't have that belief, but you can have this other one. Oh, wait, I think that's what the First Amendment was all about.
Yeah, well, that's sort of what it was all about, but these folk really don't believe in the Constitution anyhow. They just didn't do away with the whole thing. Ciao.
I get it. Thanks, Mick. Appreciate the call. Line 1, Steve is in Texas, of course. Hey, Steve, road rage. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Being a truck driver, I deal with that quite often from a lot of different drivers out here. But there's one specific time I was actually in my car, and I was driving to San Antonio. And it was at night, and I don't know what set this guy off. I have no idea. We were the only two on the highway, and he come out of, like, nowhere up from behind me. And It was really an intimidating and scary experience. I did not have my concealed handgun license at the time. But what I did do, he pulled up beside me on my passenger side, and he started swerving at me and flipping me off. I had my young son in the car. I immediately hit the brakes and fell in behind him. I grabbed my phone, and I turned the camera on, and I snapped a picture from behind. He saw me do that because it was nighttime and the phone lit up. Then I immediately dialed 911. That way, if anything happened between that point, that they would find that picture on my phone, and they would have a picture of the license plate and the vehicle and something to go on. And when I called 911, he saw me put the lit phone up to my head. Well, he immediately took the next exit off the road. But I already had the license plate, and I called the police, and they said, and gave them the plate, and they said, okay, they'll try to see what they can do, find out what his problem is.
Wow. Well, as a trucker, you probably don't have a lot of people trying to run you off the road when you're driving a big truck, though, I wouldn't imagine.
Sir, I'll tell you what, I've got video after video after video of people that try to merge onto the highway, 70 mile an hour. I cannot accommodate vehicles, cars coming onto the highway. I'm 80,000 pounds.
Right.
And they get mad because I've got traffic on my left side, and, I can't slow down. I can't speed up that fast. And it happens every day. It happened today. They get mad. They run their own self off on the shoulder because they're not paying attention, literally. And they're not paying attention when they're merging into traffic. They look up and, whoa, there's a big truck. Get out of my way,
Right.
And they fall in behind me. And that's when I've got the camera on, and it happened today. I had to call the police again. He comes, gets a brake, comes around, gets in front of me, and brake check, slams on the brakes right in front of me.
Yep. Well, that's for those who don't understand, that's a really dumb thing to do. Well, I'll just hit my brakes and get him off my tail. No, just drive, people. If somebody comes up and they're tailgating you, just drive. Ignore them. It's not about you personally. Get your ego out of it. All you're doing is buying into the whole fight. So I'm sure you have seen all sorts of stuff, Steve. I appreciate the call. Thank you, sir. I do want to talk with Ron. He's on line 2 out of Arizona. Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I wanted to tell you my experience with Winchester ammunition, the white box.
Yeah.
I had 3 rounds that one wouldn't chamber, the other one did, but had machine markings on them. I contacted Winchester Ammo. They sent a box to retrieve those 3 rounds. Thanked me very much. 2 weeks later, I get a check in the mail for $25 to replace that whole box of ammunition.
Now, we talked about this, didn't we?
No, this is the first time I called.
Okay. I was thinking we had another call that was very similar to that. But, I guess it goes back to that whole deal of, I'm always telling people, look, if you have a problem, at least give the manufacturer a chance to make it right. I'm glad it went well for you, but I'm not surprised. I mean, these are good companies. But when you're sitting there making 5 or 10 million rounds a day, and that's the kind of production they're turning out, say stuff happens,
Well, that's what I talked to him. I says, I'm a fix-it man myself. How do I know how to fix it if I don't see the problem?
So they wanted it back, and I guess they wanted the lot number and all of that, and then they were able to go back and track, and I'm sure they're figuring out what happened. But in the meantime, they sent you a check so you can go buy some more ammo. And, and what I like about it, it's pretty gutsy. They didn't even say, hey, here's Winchester ammo. They said, look, here's money. You go buy any ammo you want.
Correct. And most people aren't aware that number that's inside the box is the lot number that they need. Don't destroy the box.
And a good point. I always think of people know about lot numbers, and a lot of people don't. It's inside the flap of the cardboard box. There's a lot number there. Usually that's where it is. And
so
if you have a problem.
I sent the 3 rounds back in their special box, plus the folded up box that it came in.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad it worked out well for you, Ron.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate the call, sir. I thank you very much. If you're making, say in the case of Ruger, 2.5 million guns a year, there are going to be a few that'll get out that have a burr or a problem or a thing. If you get that gun, don't put up with it. Don't put up and say, wow, man, this thing's just, no. They don't want you to tell all your friends, hey, I got this gun, whether it's Smith & Wesson or Ruger, whoever it is. They want a chance to make it right. And I've had people say, well, Didn't take it back to the dealer. I go, really? You bought this thing, and guns are not cheap. They cost money, and it's not doing what you want. Call the manufacturer and say, look, this is what's going on. They will say, send it back to us so we can see what's going on here. They're going to say that, and they'll send you a box, or they'll send you a shipping label, and they'll get it back, and they'll take care of it for you. It's just what they do. I mean, it's pretty simple as that. So give them a chance. Like I say, I was staggered when I found out how much ammunition is loaded in America every day. It is, I mean, if it's just 22 rimfire, I think I remember the number is approaching 10 million rounds a day of just 22 rimfire. I mean, forget all the rifle, shotgun, handgun ammo. There's staggering amounts of ammunition. And it was actually, I have to admit, it was a little bit depressing for me. Because when I realized that there are millions upon millions of rounds being loaded every day, I realized that there are a lot of people out there who are shooting much more than I am. And I found that to be somewhat depressing, because I would like to shoot more. So I think what we all need to do is make sure that from now on, when they're building new homes, they make sure we have like an underground or an indoor shooting range built into every home. Oh, that's a question. Have you ever shot in your home? I mean, not like an accidental round or something, but have you ever shot in your home, maybe down in the basement? Have you ever set up a shooting range? Have you ever been to somebody's house who had a private shooting range? I went to one guy's house. He had a 100-yard shooting range. They had dug a 100-yard trench and laid a 48-inch pipe in it, and going from his basement, and lit it and put targets on runners so he could run them out there, and put a camera at the end of 100 yards so he could see on a closed-circuit TV what his groups were. And he could shoot in his basement and do 100-yard rifle shooting. That was so sweet. Talk about envious. Oh, man, I was, and loud too, Jim says. Say, what? All right, when we come back, let's talk about what's going on in Michigan in this lawsuit that the state says, yeah, you can be a foster parent. Yeah, you can be an adoptive parent, but you got to give up some Second Amendment rights to do that. There's just something blatantly wrong about that, and we're doing something about it.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All righty, back with you. 866 Talk Gun, get you in. A lot of things going on. A lot of things. Let me see. I was looking up this crazy. I want to get this email up. It just came in. Let me find this for you, because this was a good one. Yeah, okay. This is from Chris in Stockton, California. He says, hey, Tom and the Gun Talk crew, thanks for your help. Recently, I wrote you about my new Springfield Armory XD9 pistol. Initially, I had a problem with the slide closing after the last round was fired. One suggestion, because I said I think I know what's going on, was to check my grip and make sure I was not riding the slide lock with my thumb. That was the issue. I went back to the range, checked my magazines and my grip, as recommended by you and the Gun Talk crew, and figured out it was operator error. Everything is working well after my adjustment, and I love the pistol. It's a great shooter and was a great deal with the mail-in rebate, where I will get an additional 4 magazines, holster and magazine holder for my belt. Thanks again for your show and for you and the Gun Talk crew's knowledge, Chris. Hey, Chris, my pleasure trying to help you out there. Imagine being a gun maker. Imagine being a gun maker and you get a complaint. This gun does this. You get it back in. You say, send it to me. Send it to us. We'll take care of it. We'll look at it. It works just fine. This happens all the time. It works just fine when we get it back here. Send it back to the owner. It says, no, it's still doing the same thing. That was the case, like when the original Ruger LCP, the little compact 380 came out. And yes, there had been Kel-Tecs before, but not nearly the number as the LCP. And people were saying, well, this thing just doesn't cycle. It's jams. And what they found was that people were not giving it enough resistance. You have to grip it hard and lean into it. If you don't do that, it will most certainly jam. So people they go out to the range, they shoot it, the gun jams. They send it to Ruger, they test it, hey, works fine, send it back. They go out to the range with it and they shoot it and it jams. Same deal here. You got Chris who's shooting his gun and the slide will not lock back after the last round's fired. Well, he's got his thumb on the slide release lever. So, what do you do? It's frustrating to be a gun maker out there. Have you had experience with a gun manufacturer? Have you ever had a problem and had to send a gun back? How did that work out for you? My sense is that we probably are getting a high, percentage of people who send guns back and they work, the companies take care of them well. 866 Talk Gun. Tell you what, when we come back, I want to talk about this situation in Michigan where people who are wanting to adopt or to be foster parents are being told, basically, you got to give up your Second Amendment rights. It's outrageous, it's unconscionable, and actually we're doing something about it. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Double Tap Ammunition and Colt Ammunition manufactured by Double Tap using top-of-the-line components made in the USA and hand-inspected. Choose from 481 loads in 82 calibers. Defense, hunting, competition. Double Tap.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Since 1937, Ducks Unlimited has led the charge on wetlands and waterfowl conservation. Wetlands reduce the effects of flooding and recharge our drinking water, but perhaps most importantly, they allow us to experience what makes the outdoors so great. Band together to rescue our wetlands.
Colt National Match Ammunition, manufactured by Double Tap, is specially developed for performance and accuracy. Real match ammo, designed with competition power factors in mind. Colt National Match Ammunition by Double Tap Ammo, available in stores now.
Every once in a while you hear one of these stories and you think, that can't be true. That's got to be fake news. That's got to be some kind of, and it's like you almost want to go to Snopes or one of those places and say, yeah, that's a bogus story. No, not this case. Holy cow. People want to adopt or they want to be foster parents, and the state of Michigan saying, yeah, that's great, but we've got some restrictions. We got to have all the serial numbers, and you can't have any loaded guns. You can't have guns for self-protection. You go, what? Well, let's talk to the guy who is actually handling the lawsuit for the Second Amendment Foundation. David Sigale joins us right now. Hey, David, how are you?
Good, Tom. Pleasure to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. You sound good. When I first read this, I thought, this can't be right. And then I start and read some of the things where the judge supposedly told him, said, we know that we're violating a number of constitutional rights here, but if you violate them, we're going to come take this boy away. In other words, if you don't comply with the gun restrictions, we're going to come take the boy out of your home. Is that true?
Well, it is true. And I want to make clear, because, everyone looked at that, looked at that part of the complaint, and it's, of course, the part that, everyone locks in on.
Right.
I think that the tone that you just said it with is more what the defendants, the Health and Human Services the Department of Health and Human Services that administers the foster care program, makes the rules and policies for it, and that is basically what they said, what they threatened. I think what happened when they went to court, I think the judge was just making a recognition that, look, my job is to follow the law, and these are, these are the policies they're setting, and, my hands are kind of tied. Not that it was an issue, it was more like, it came up in passing almost. But it was just the judge kind of recognizing, I think, that, look, this is the state. These are the policies they make. I follow the law. What do you want me to do about it?
Sure.
And there's more a recognition of that rather than, say, like the tyrannical court system.
Right.
But that the threatening nature of it, did come from the employees of the defendant of the Health and Human Services, and that is what the policies say. And, I agree with what you said before the break, that it is outrageous. The first time that this came to my attention was a lawsuit I brought about it in Oklahoma, and, now I guess it's not so surprising to me anymore. But when I first heard that this was happening, and then that it was happening in my own state, in Illinois, where we have another lawsuit currently pending as well, I was very surprised. I was outraged. Why should people have to give up, their Second Amendment rights to, defend, not just the foster child, but also, if they have natural children in the home, or adopted children in the home, or spouses, or whatever, you have to give up your Second Amendment rights to foster, and I agree that just, it's not right.
Well, now, you went to federal court on this, so what's the challenge? What's the plan?
We talking about the Michigan case? The
Michigan case, yes.
Well, it's very early. We just filed the lawsuit this past week, so it's, the defendant, who's the director of the Health and Human Services, hasn't been served yet, so we haven't had a response yet. But, ultimately, we want to get this issue before the judge that this is an unconstitutional violation, not just of Second Amendment rights, but of 14th Amendment rights to equal protection. Why should foster parents be treated different than others? Of substantive due process, because we believe that, once the foster child is placed in a home, that there is a sort of liberty interest that attaches to that. In how, of course, there's going to be certain rules and guidelines, but you don't give up all your ability to, how to choose how you're going to take care of that foster child. So I think all of those things come into play, and we're going to bring them before the court, and I'm hopeful that the court's going to encounter, which is the case. The plaintiffs are up in the Upper Peninsula, but the case is actually being heard in Kalamazoo. And we're just, we're hopeful that when the court hears our arguments and where we're coming from, that he's going to rule in our favor.
All right. So we have the Second Amendment Foundation has similar litigation, I guess, it looks like in Illinois and Oklahoma. How are those going, or kind of, as you look at other states, what's the likelihood of us prevailing in these cases?
It's it's hard to use the other cases as a benchmark. The Oklahoma case actually is concluded. On paper, it says dismissed as moot, but that's really misleading, because what happened is that the state repealed the policy, and so and in fact, it was interesting in that situation, and it's different than others. It was basically, according to them, it was like one rogue employee that wrote up this policy and started distributing it. And then when we filed the lawsuit and really started bringing it to their attention, they, according to them, and as they swore in court documents, they revoked that and swore they're not going to do it again. So the judge decided there was, no more controversy to be decided, which, I mean...
Hey, that's a win.
Well, it is. I mean, on paper, okay, fine, but the clients, they got what they wanted. Mm-hmm. And, we achieved what Second Amendment Foundation, we achieved what we were looking for, which is that this policy went away. In Illinois, the state tried to dismiss it, and the judge denied it and said, no, this case is going to go forward. So it's set for a trial sometime in 2018. Right now we're dealing with the discovery and the experts and things like that. And so, so don't know where that is going, but the judge could have thrown it out at the very beginning and did not. So, I'm hopeful that that turns out to be a good sign for us.
All right, let me ask you, we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but just wondering, are you looking for people in other states that may have run into similar situations?
Absolutely. We'll certainly, I will say that I have been contacted, and Second Amendment Foundation as well, by people in other states who have read about this and said, hey, we have this situation as well. And, it's a perilous situation, legally speaking, right? I mean, for these people who want to stand up and step forward, mm-hmm. because, what's the flip side of the coin, right? It's
they don't get the children.
Right. Right,
yeah.
And
the state basically takes the kids out of the homes, or they deny them the ability to be foster parents. So yeah, I mean it's tricky for them to stand up and say, "Hey, I want my Second Amendment rights." The state says, "Great, okay, we're putting you on the list. You can never have a foster child. You can never adopt in this state." You go, well, that's horrendous.
Right, and in the Oklahoma case, there basically there were filings by the state, and I can't 100% remember if I've come across this in the Illinois case or not. But basically the argument is, hey, look, foster care, if you want to do it, you play by our rules. This is something the state does, and if you don't like it, then don't be a foster parent. Mm-hmm. I mean, what a horrific. I mean, it's horrific for these people who want to, be parents and help children, but it's also a really bad situation for these kids, who might otherwise find them, be able to be placed somewhere with a family that wants to take care of them, and because of this constitutional issue, they don't. So they're still... in whatever less than optimal situation that they're in, and and then forcing the foster parents or would-be foster parents to make this choice.
It's one of those Hobson's choice, or one of those. Hey, David, look, I've got to run. I've got the music hitting on me right now. I appreciate it very much. David Sigale handling the lawsuit. The Second Amendment Foundation bringing these suits, helping these people out in these different states. David, again, thank you. I apologize, but hey, we're against the hard break, and here it comes. All right, have you heard of anything like that happening to anybody you know? How would you react to that if they said, yeah, you can adopt, you can take in your grandkids, but oh yeah, you got to lock up your guns? 866-TALK-GUN. Sigale back with you. Let's go straight to the phones and get Jackson on here on line 4 out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Jackson, are you still there?
Yeah.
Hi. How are you? How old are you?
I'm 9 years old, so...
You're okay.
Yeah, but I called in, so I wanted to... I have been listening to your shows quite a bit, and I just wanted to know, like, I want to kind of get training, like, full-fledged training for a child.
Okay.
Like, where would I go do that? How old would I have to be?
What kind of shooting? We're talking about shooting training. Do you want to shoot competition, or what are you talking about?
Well, probably more self-defense.
Okay. Probably it's going to be a little bit difficult to find a formal school that will take a 9-year-old. But what I would suggest is doing a lot of shooting. There are places where you can go and shoot competition and shoot handguns competitively, and you could start out at 9. That's not a problem. I would suggest that you start getting involved in that and maybe get your parents involved and get to some ranges and start shooting that way. And that way you'll be able to handle guns comfortably. You'll basically be a lot of the stuff you do for action pistol shooting will apply for self-defense shooting. And then in a few years, and I'm talking probably 3 to 4 years, you probably can get into a formal class somewhere, self-defense shooting class. But I would seriously suggest you take a look at getting started with competitive shooting. I think that might be a good way to go. Now, do you shoot now?
Yeah, me and my dad are going to the shooting range every once in a while, so, yeah.
Well, I really think, and you're just in Tulsa area, you've got some really good shooting ranges there. Check around and see who's having shooting matches and see if you can get involved. There may be some youth leagues, some places like that. I think it's a good entry point for you, and you'll really, really learn a lot. The more you shoot in competition, and it's just fun, but the more you shoot there, the more you'll learn and the better you'll get. And you can use those skills for all types of shooting, okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Jackson. Yeah, they've got a great world-class shooting facilities, I remember, in the Tulsa area, so that's definitely something to look into. Let's see. James is on line 1 out of Albuquerque. James, I have 1 minute, so go for it, please.
Hey, Tom. We train civilians, law enforcement, including SWAT, and military, including special forces. Mm-hmm. If there's one common denominator I'd like to press with every shooting group, that is get off these stationary targets. Mm-hmm. There are targets. We have patented moving target systems, so I hope you don't go in defiance of my patent. But you can make some simplistic moving targets. Mm-hmm. It is amazing to us to be training some of the best of the best. But when the target starts mimicking human movements, they really don't do that well in the beginning.
It's so true. We put people through a lot of force-on-force training with simunitions, and it's all great on a square range on cardboard, but when things start moving, man, sometimes the wheels fall off, don't they?
Well, people believe because they go to their local indoor range where they probably can't even draw from the holster, and they stand there with the stationary target at 7 yards, and they can put 2 and 1, say, well, I'm ready for a gunfight in a mall. Well, you're really not.
No, you're not. And it's a great point. I appreciate you getting in with that. It's that old deal. If you don't know what you don't know, and when you start getting training and you start working on moving targets, and here's the thing, if you're shooting moving targets, then you should be moving at the same time. So you're moving, the target's moving, and maybe there are no-shoot targets around there like innocent bystanders. Oh, that just got complicated. Yeah, that's why we train, friends and neighbors. Hey, if you'd like to talk about this a bit more or other things, you can do it on the after show. Call me right now, 866-TALK-GUN. You can be part of the after show if you haven't listened to it. Check out GunDealio. Get the free app. You can listen to it there. Be safe out there. Go shooting.